I'm here in Wimbledon after the Wimbledon women's final with Steve Flink, one of the most famous riders around the world, in the United States, and you wrote a famous book which I have at home and always consult. Can you say exactly what is the title?
It's called The Greatest Tennis Matches of the 20th Century.
Which was the greatest of all?
Well, I ranked it, at the time, I ranked Borg McEnroe's 1980 Wimbledon final, the one played right here, and including the famous 18-16 tiebreak that McEnroe won to take it into a fifth set. I ranked that as the greatest, but I would now amend that, and I would put Nadal Federer from last year. I thought a lot about it, and I would give that the nod.
9-7 in the fifth. Unbelievable.
Yes, unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Steve is a great expert of all tennis, not just men, but also women. And today we saw the two Williams. Everyone was thinking that maybe Venus could win because she had won 5 times, but you were not so sure. No, you think that Serena is stronger.
I do. I believed it. I thought Serena would win last year. I really did. I thought she was primed for it a year ago, and I thought she was due because she hadn't won it since 2003 when she won her second title over Venus. And so I thought, okay, she really is going to come through this year because, to me, she's the better player on all surfaces. But I felt that on that occasion she was so anxious, so determined, she wanted it so badly that she hurt herself. She was a victim of her own anxiety, you might say. And I thought she pressed a little bit. She was up 4-2 in the first set, and she lost 7-5, 6-3. Venus very composed, served very well, played very well in the win, but I didn't think Serena did herself justice. Today, I thought it was just the opposite. Serena was calm. She was purposeful.
This is the first announcement.
She
Daniel Nestor and Nenad Zimonjic will be in the main queue run in 5 minutes.
Were much better than Venus's. So to me, she deserved this today to win in straight sets, 7-6, 6-2, as she did. Also, by the way, played a magnificent tiebreak, I thought.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Great end with that lob.
Top spin
lob with the backhand.
Right.
Very difficult.
Right.
Listen, Steve, when we watch the two Williams, it's difficult that there is a lot of atmosphere because more or less people don't really care. I mean, if he wins Serena or Venus, it's not like when Chris Evert and Martina Navratilova played one against the other. You remember those times?
Very well. No, I know what you're saying, because there was an emotional investment on the part of the fans when they watched Chris and Martina. They liked one or the other. You could feel it. And there were different camps. There were different, sets of fans, you might say. But you always knew that there were people going to root very hard for one player or the other. They don't know quite. The fans don't know quite who to pull for when there are a few people shouting out from the stands, "Go Venus, go Serena," but by and large the crowd just sits there quietly. They appreciate what great athletes they are, but they don't have a strong emotional tie, I think, to either player when they're against each other. If they play somebody else, when Serena played Dementieva the other day,
yeah,
then they get more involved, and some of them are cheering for Serena, and some of them want Elena to upset her, and it's a different atmosphere.
Yeah. Listen, we are in the eve of the men's final.
Yes.
And you have an American playing Federer. The American is Andy Roddick, who is a source of revival, because, there were a few years that Roddick wasn't playing anymore a final in Slam. No?
True.
2006 at the US Open.
Right.
So, what do you think? Does he have a chance against Roger Federer, or you don't think so?
Well, I don't think he has a very good chance. The one thing I'll say about Roddick, most of us are assuming Federer wins it in 3, maybe 4 sets. But Roddick is a very, very determined competitor. I give him credit for that. He keeps a positive attitude. He's thrilled to be in the final after a 3-year gap, as you just alluded to. The problem for him, obviously, is he's won only 2 out of 20 times he's played Federer, and in 7 times they've played in the majors, never beaten. That includes 2 Wimbledon finals, 1 U.S. Open final, a couple of Australian Open semifinals, a U.S. Open quarterfinal, and he's had a lot of opportunities. Having said that, I thought he played one of the best matches of his life against Andy Murray. One of the most complete matches I've ever seen from him.